Is off.
Hello, hello.
Yes, you're audible now.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
May I
If you
start?
could just hold on for a minute. Yeah, just hold
Yes,
on
yes,
for a minute.
sure, no problem, no problem.
Ye- yes,
Uh,
judges, are we ready to go?
Yes,
Ashwati,
Yes.
just a minute. Judges, judges, for the sake of this round, this is the last part of human identity topic. And after this, we will have the rebuttal 2 minutes of code number 6A, who was the opener of the current topic. Thank you.
Okay.
Ashwati, you can give the timing.
Yes, 2A, you may kindly start.
Okay. Thank you so much, coordinators. So, good morning, everyone. So I am participant 2A, and I will be talking or speaking for the motion. So, I would like to start my set of the debate by quoting a very renowned playwright, William Shakespeare. So, this renowned personality says that we know what we are, but not what we may be. And when we talk about our debate today, the topic for our debate today, that is recognizing human identity through social media, there are two main elements that we see here. One being human identity, and the other one being your social media. I would like to explain both these elements in brief, in layman's language, not going to use any kind of legal jargon here. So number one being one's identity. So when we talk about an identity, there are two questions that arises in front of us. Number one being, who am I? And number two being, who are you? So the explanation is so simple. It is nothing but distinguishing character or even a personality of an individual, something that makes us different from one another. The second element that I said was social media. So we need to understand that social media contains various websites and applications which basically enables its user to create and even share their content. And also it helps in participating different networking sites. So to support my argument today, I have four major elements, four major topics to talk about. So number one being different types of identities. As we know, we have all heard about different types of identities. For example, cultural identity, we have heard about gender identity, political identity, legal identity, etc., etc., etc. So when we talk about political identity, as much as we all millennials want to be apolitical, we always want to be neutral, no opinions about politics. We need to understand that there are so many people here who need a voice, who need their issues to be out there in the public. They need a platform where they are allowed to they are allowed to give their opinions. And yes, social media does give them this opportunity to voice themselves. They give them an opportunity to be heard. Yes, so this is nothing but basically social media recognize the human identities of these people, and these identities are nothing but political identities. The another one that I stated before was gender identity. So basically we know that there are so many communities online, especially one that is QNIT, QNIT. So such communities, what they do is they welcome people who are struggling, who are confused about their gender identities, or who are struggling with the acceptance, who are disowned by their own flesh and blood. So these communities welcome these people with open arms, and they help them through their transition. It's a wonderful journey. So the next main point that I would like to talk about are the three stages. Yes, we talked about what identity is. We talked about the types of identity. But how do we recognize these identities when it comes to social media? It's very easy. Basically, there are three E's. Number one E, that is your uh, exploration. Number two is your experimentation. And number three is your expression. So how do we remember these three E's? It's very easy. My example would definitely catch a lot of attention right now. We all are on Instagram and we have been obsessed with those makeup tutorials. Few months back, I was just scrolling through my Instagram and I came across these makeup tutorials. I was so obsessed with them. I was exploring them for hours. So that was me exploring. That was the first stage. The second stage being experimentation. That is, I collected all the resources, all the tools that I had, and I started trying on new looks. So that was the second stage here. The third stage, that is expression, was being a law student. Of course, we are smart. So I had this one idea. I decided this is an excellent source to spread awareness. So I made this new makeup look where I saw to it that I looked as if I had a bruised face, I was bleeding, and I took a photo and I posted it on Instagram. And the post that I wrote was nothing but about domestic violence. So social media was the one that gave me an identity, a place where I would be able to put forth all my opinions, a place where I could put forth and spread awareness. So yes, here social media was giving me an identity. The next and the third point that I'm going to talk about are the privacy concerns. So we have seen lots of online websites, and a very near example is basically Quora. We all have heard about it. Pretty sure you all have used Quora for the research of this debate as well. So Quora is basically a site where if you're not comfortable in revealing your identity, you can post your questions anonymously, and millions of people do answer them. So I would like to, judges, I would like
2 minutes
point.
left.
Yes, I would like to point this one point. This is a major point, that social media not just recognizes our identity, but it also protects our identity. The last point of mine being age. So when it comes to age, we need to understand that there are three different age groups. Number one being 16 to 34, which basically uses and makes the optimum use of this social media having. And I would like to also state some statistics here. And the optimum use that is made is basically 3 hours 1 minute daily on an average basis. And the second age group that I'm going to talk about, that is the last age group, which is 55 years and above, basically uses social media on a daily basis for 1 hour and 53 minutes. So we also know that various age groups use it for various reasons. For example, the millennials use it to post photos, to get likes, to followers, whatever. The second age group, that is from 26 to 40, basically uses it for matrimonial sites or for dating apps or even for LinkedIn. This point was already made before. And the third group, that is your 41 and above, uses it for YouTube channel and WhatsApp. Of course, how can we forget the good morning messages that we get from our grandparents and then family relative groups? So I would like to conclude my session by just 2 points, saying that social media in today's time, social media is an inseparable element. I repeat, it's an inseparable element while defining the process of human identity. And my second point being, yes, I do agree, I do believe that social media recognizes, it constructs, and it reshapes the human identity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, 2A. I request you to keep your video on till 1B finishes with his speech. Yeah.
Am I good to go?
Just a minute. Ashwati, please take over.
Yes. Judges, shall we begin?
Yeah, please.
Yes. You may please proceed.
I agree. Not with the motion, of course, but yeah, with one of my fellow participants very cunningly noting that how this debate is drifting apart from what it was meant to be. This is not a discussion on if social media use is benefiting human race or if it's not, or if its excessive use is actually a pro or a con, or if the use of it as measuring human identity is a good thing or not. This is just to justify if human identity is now being recognized through social platforms. I'm participant 1B and I will be speaking against the motion. Social media platforms are a way of expressing one's emotions, being physically distant to the people who are close to you, giving you a sense of sharing happiness along with the people in this world of increasing busyness, in this world of increasing preoccupation. Identifying an individual is the foundation. I repeat, identifying an individual is the foundation upon which the display of such emotions of happiness or any other emotion happens. Thus, a medium cannot be the source of itself. If you switch on a bulb, the light is emitted from the bulb. It travels through space. Space cannot be considered as a source. And thus, my humanity or my identity cannot be reflected through what I post on social media. We know a lot of people like Malala Yousafzai, Ratan Tata, Bill Gates, Bradley Cooper, who are not known for what they do on social media because they don't even handle their social media themselves. They have managers handling their social media. So is their identity equal to what their managers post on their social media? We have immense respect for all these people and the work that they've done in the real world and not on what we see throughout media. If we all know very well, Bill Gates was once known as the most cunning entrepreneur in this world, trying to monopolize the entire industry. But as a human being, a different identity, a social identity that he carries is that of a philanthropist. Not because of posting good videos of how he, made a musical video by donating people stuff. No, he did it without posting it on social media, and yet we know about that. One of my fellow competitors recited a very beautiful poem saying we like being liked. And I would like to put forward a question to this very belief, that is that what human identity has come down to? Identification of an individual at a deeper level can never be understood by the posts or the shares or anything that they do on their social media. Right? I hope everyone agrees with me that social media is a dynamic medium. Every day, every hour, every minute, every second, they change their feed. People upload new content. Does that mean my identity is changing? If I upload the pictures again and again in a different place, it carries a big disadvantage of using this new information and refreshing this feed, because it can easily influence an individual to make a drift off from one's real identity, right? And we can post anything that we are not. If you all remember 16th of June 2019, I guess, India versus Pakistan in Manchester. Pakistan had a humiliating defeat and a person became very famous for a post-match interview saying, "Maro mujhe maro." Momin Saqib was only known for the person who made those comments after the match, and he became very famous. But how many of you know him on a deeper level? He was the first president of King's College London, being of non-European descent in 144 years. That's an identity of the person, not Maro Mujhe Maro. Right? Moving on to my next point, social media we all know that it does not carry authentic information. None of the generation, like none of I don't think any one of us sitting over here have not been through messages on WhatsApp which totally seem fake. We have that kind of a common sense to understand who is faking it and who is not. A person's authentic information on a person's personal details, neither maybe his whereabouts, or as many people said, posting fake content on Tinder just to get that availance. We can change our location itself. I'm sitting in Jamshedpur right now. I can say that I'm in Pune right now, and I can get Tinder matches accordingly. That's not my identity. That's not my whereabouts. That's not who I am. Gary Vaynerchuk, who runs a brand on himself called Gary V, post this again and again that, like people said that if people comment
You
good
have two
stuff, people get recognition. Yeah, thank you so much. So Gary Vee said that we should have only empathy for these people because they don't have a real life. They don't have a real identity. For the people who said about LinkedIn, LinkedIn is not an example in this case. LinkedIn is a professional social platform where you can only where it's only meant to increase your connectivity, to network with other professionals. It is not meant to describe who I am as a person. What if I'm empathetic as a person, but I decline every offer that comes to me as a recruiter? Does not mean I'm a rude person. It's a professional category. It's a professional identity that I carry. It's not meant to be my human identity. I've talked to a lot of travel bloggers in my journey. Being a blogger myself, I've talked to a lot of travel bloggers, and they hate, the fact that they have to travel and they cannot enjoy it. As much as they show it to you, they don't enjoy it. And all their real followers, all their real friends know this. That is their human identity, not what you see on your screens. Social media platforms, if used, as a sole criteria for a person to identify themselves, may cultivate a culture of individuals judging everyone as well as themselves on the amount of activity that they show on their Instagram or any other social profile. And this will inculcate low self-esteem, and the youth in the coming generations, which is just sad in simple terms. And a lot of people said that, the corona conundrum and, social media has its own limitations. I agree to all of that. But the one thing that I, do not agree to is people saying that they connect to people and they don't feel lonely anymore. Then why do so many famous people on Instagram and YouTube come back and say they have an anxiety of feeling lonely if it's not serving its purpose? If I was a child who was below 16-year-old and I'm not on Facebook, does that mean I don't have a human identity?
Your
Sonu
time is
Sood
up.
connecting to people. Okay, I'll just end it with one point. Microsoft Teams is a virtual conferencing platform, my dear friends. It's not a social media platform. And digital identity is a database. It's not our real identity. Thank you. I rest.
Thank you.
Thank you, 1B. With this, now I'd like to call